I think so.
King of the sesh. That
might be the name of the podcast, actually. We'll have to think of that at the end, like, what the name of it's going to be. Are we good to go?
Yeah, this is the one.
Weird.
Alright, you lovely lot. Welcome back to NE1's Mental Health Podcast with me, Ray Elliott, and my co-host and good pal, Sam Warner. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Are you good?
I'm good, mate.
I know you're good because I've been with you all fucking week.
I'm refreshed, revitalised after the Christmas break, and I'm absolutely buzzing to get back on it with these podcasts. First guest of the new year, and we're absolutely delighted to be joined by James McCRORY, or otherwise known as Gypsy Boy, Jimmy McCRORY. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm very, very good, and pleased to be asked to come on here. And humbled, actually. You know what I mean? I'm a forgotten man in the fighting world now, but it means a lot to be asked to go on something like this.
I think you're saying forgotten man. I know you've got some fights coming up, but I think you're fairly well known around this region. I've certainly known and followed you for a long time, and just getting into the fighting. So as way of introduction, you amateur boxing, had a really good amateur career.
Yeah.
Come through and somehow made it into the bare-knuckle fight scene, which is sort of coming into prominence now. It's having its moment in the sun, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's very different to when you would have started.
Yeah, very different.
And that's something that I'm really keen to touch on. But between those amateur years and the bare-knuckle boxing and where you are now, there's been a bit of a roller coaster.
He's ruined. Keaton would say life's a roller coaster. Yeah. Somehow I've stayed on,
and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But I think you've shared your fair share of hedonism and grappled with addiction and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we're just saying that you're in a good place now. You're looking really well, and you're 5 years clean, which is, I mean, congratulations, mate.
Yeah.
Like,
5 years on March the 15th it'll be. I'm actually fighting on my 5th anniversary, but it'll be great.
Fantastic.
Oh, awesome.
And you're now on a sort of a different path and trying to help people and where you can.
Yes, sure. With Step 12, I'm very passionate about recovery. And giving back is the best. I think the best thing that any other can do. I'm always going to be an addict, but I don't use and I don't give in to the cravings that, of course, I still get. But if I can do it, then hopefully other people that were in the same position as what I was can just think, oh, if he can do it, And I was mad as a box of frogs. If someone can see me, how I've changed my life, and they think, well, hang on, I want a bit of what he's got. What do you do, Jimmy? Simple. I go to meetings, I shut up, and I listen, and that's it. And that is really how simple it is. I just follow what I'm told in their meetings and work my steps, find a sponsor, and do what I'm told.
How amazing! How amazing is that? And powerful though, and simple, but often some of the hardest things to do. Isn't it?
Because also addicts, man, like, overcomplicate everything. You know what I mean? Like, I overthink. I didn't used to think I overthought anything. Because I just think I was very ignorant. I can still be very arrogant and like ignorant at times, but I just think, nothing bothers me, and I don't overthink anything. But my current woman, honestly, when she's broke things down a lot over the last, probably I'd say the last 6 months to a year, I fucking overthink everything, man. Like, absolutely everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a simple program that we make complicated, and it really that's as plain as simple as I can make it. It's simple. You go into NA, you sit down, you're open-minded, you're honest, and you're willing, and that is it.
It's amazing. I mean, that's pretty much this forum, innit, explained. Like, we're sitting down, we're talking openly and honestly about stuff we've been through, some stuff we're not proud of, but in the hope that if someone's listening and they're maybe going down that path, or they're in the throes of it at the moment, and all the madness and the chaos that comes with it, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah.
But if they're sitting listening to this, and like you say, if you can come back from it, hopefully somebody can take some inspiration and realise that the steps are fairly simple to follow, and help is out there, and it can be done. And that's the message that we're trying to put across.
Yes, sir.
Sam, it's a subject you know a little bit about, and I'm sure you're keen to chat about.
I am, and I first come across you, James, Vice, Vice documentary years ago, and I can remember me and my wife Alex, we used to watch a lot of the Vice stuff, and you popped up like, my lass is a Geordie lass. I'm not by my accent, adopted, living up here a year, but we were just enthralled, and being a fight fan as well, boxed when I was a kid. And gone on and listened to other podcasts you've done, listened to your story. And like you say, Ray, that life when you're kind of spinning, you're with the lads, the gear, the fighting, the rep, the fucking dopamine chase, just the whole thing just spinning's out of control, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you stay there, like, mate, the first thing that come into my head there, like, you know, the lads and the reputation and, you know, the chase and all that, it's all it just sounds great, right? But it is all bullshit. It's all false, you know. For so long in my life, all I can tell you, and I'm just being honest, it was all false. The people I was with, false. Like, you know, I'll be honest with you, mate. All them people that I was with back then in the like chaos, I speak to two fucking men. You know, I've bought people's full fucking families Christmas presents. I've loaned people loads of money, bought people cars, whatever, right? And two men. One of them's in jail doing fucking nearly 10 years, okay. Another one has got a garage gym doing the road. So there's two lads that I speak to out of all the other people. All these people, you know, they're your bros and people that you're going fucking sorting shower for, that you're all risking your liberty for, by the way. Yeah. But you don't think about that when you're off your nut, you know what I mean? And your ego is chasing, you know what I mean? It's all bullshit.
My dad used to say something to me when I was a kid and I never really got it at the time. And he said, listen, lad, you know, when you grow up, if you can count your true pals and people you can call on one hand, you'll be a very lucky man. He said, because the rest of them are just acquaintances.
Yeah.
And, you know, you, if I think back to when I was out all the time and clubbing and these people that just come and go and they're hanging on your coattails and they just want a good time, and they'll tell you anything, won't they, just to get you out on the weekend and get you out on the session.
Sorry, I was just going to say, but that age-old adage of like your old man telling you something and it's fucking gone in there, out there, and you're like, yeah, I've got fucking hundreds of mates, gorge. Yeah. But it is true, innit? And you're a dad now, you've got your kids and like, we're on that path and you can see. Fucking hell, he could easily just zig and zag and end up on the wrong place with the wrong kit. When you look back, James, with your own, obviously, I'm sure you think about how did you end up, because I've heard you say on one of the pods that you said, you know, you got nothing but love from your parents as a kid. Yeah. For me, I know my parents loved me, but it was rough. Like they split up. My mum was sort of doing a thing with a new fella, and my dad had ended up going, and it was rough when my mum and dad split up. Like, we got weaponised. Your dad's not seeing you, don't pay the money, all that. And I reckon now I know from the benefit of getting older and a bit of therapy and learning, I was angry like me. Yeah. I was angry, and fucking when I did some crazy shit at school or out and about on the estate and I got like the feedback, fucking I was 10 foot tall. Yeah. And then it just gets deeper and you get older and stronger and mad shit happens. Yeah. When you mentioned about the lads, do you feel like, I know when I look back at the gang I was with, and I still speak to a couple of them, but I had to sort of come away from my own good. I don't know how some of them are getting on. Some of them had gone, heroin, dead, suicide, dead, jail, life, murdered. Some of them are probably still doing them things. I often think, God, did a lot of us come from that place where we were angry young men and we just didn't have that bit of guidance or something? I don't know. How was it for you?
I would tend to agree with the guidance thing, because my daddy died 17, and up until then, you know, I had tried things and I was drinking a lot. But definitely the guidance. My dad did keep us on the straight and narrow to a certain extent, you know. I definitely wouldn't have went as far if my dad hadn't died, you know. But like, as I said on other podcast, you know, I didn't like who I was growing up. I just didn't know whether it's a mental thing or what, or maybe it's just the age thing. I don't know. I didn't like who I was. So, as I say, like when I had my first joint, even though I didn't like the taste of tack, I liked not being me, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Detachment.
Yeah, and I was thinking, hang on a minute. This sounds crazy as well, you know, because even though I didn't like who I was, I thought that was what I did like, you know, and I like that, you know what I mean? And that's a bit of me. Yeah. Which is totally false, because it's not me, you know what I mean, being stern. But it didn't have me feeling like anything that I didn't like dislike about, you know what I mean, like the escapism, and it just manifested from there, you know what I mean. And the more that I took, and obviously when you're younger and people saying, oh, you know, James can put that drink away and James can put the gear away.
He's a fucking lunatic. He's a right crap.
I set myself a little challenge in my head. Hang on a minute, I can do 8 cans. I'm doing 9 next week. You know, and then it wouldn't be a week. It'd be probably 2 or 3 a month. I get 9 or 10. I think, hang on a minute, I can do 12 now. And I get 12 because it was 50 pence for a can of Eyeball at New 77 back in the day. And by the time I finished school, I was supposed to be 12 tins. You know what I mean? I was cushy. Get in. I just think I was great. And like looking back now, because obviously I've done a bit of research into the disease of addiction, you know, and like if I knew back then what I know now, like I would have fucking emigrated, to be honest with you. I just would have been in a place all by myself.
But that's the thing, isn't it? You know, like I thought that when I was younger, like getting away from an area would be that would solve all the ills, you know. But the truth is, there was stuff within me that was driving certain behaviours, and we had a brief chat about this just before we start recording the pod. And I think that's a common misconception about addiction, isn't it? Where people are like, oh, he just loves the drink, or he loves taking these drugs. Truth is, like, they don't love the taste of it, or they don't. It's that feeling what you're talking about, where it might give them just that sense of detachment, or they might be riddled with anxiety where they don't get it, where they're drinking in it, but it's temporary in it. But the problem is often the real issue, the root cause is something about, like you say, you didn't like yourself.
100%.
And I hear this a lot from people who are in recovery, where they think they do the hard work, where it's like stopping doing that, like whether it's drinking or whether it's drugs, and then the hard work starts, because those demons what are driving that, they all come to the front, and you've got to deal with those emotions head on a sober head, and that's when the work starts out, and then you've got to go deep, and that's when I think, from what I'm hearing from a lot of people, is when people will tend to relapse, because it's like, oh shit, this is the most difficult bit.
100%, mate. You know, like people say to me, oh, the best thing about recovery is getting your feelings, but the worst thing is about getting your feelings. Like, I'm nearly 5 years in, and I'll be honest with you guys, like I haven't got a fucking clue. Different feelings. Like my lass, she's like a worker for me, you know what I mean? Like she talks us through things, because like I really do struggle with them. Like I do. Like she's pregnant, and
Congratulations.
Obviously she's not my first child, but like my body was diluted, even though that I didn't use the day that I had scans with me other children, or that I'd drunk, but I would have drunk that week, you know what I mean? And I would have had something in my system where it definitely diluted my perception of things. But this time I've done nothing but cry, you know, when I've seen scans, and that I realised how important what is happening in her belly, you know what I mean? And feeling the little kicks and all that, like crying my eyes out, you know what I mean? And I'm so full of gratitude that I'm getting a chance to do this again, but the guilt and shame of I've let my other children down, you know, but there's nothing that I can do about that. You know, I'll have to go to court for James, and no, I don't want to say she hates this, but that's something that I've got to live with, and if she wants to live like that, and that's on her too, you know what I mean? It's been painful having kids in and out my life, but this is just something that I have to go through evidently in my life, or God wouldn't have put it in my path.
Do you know what, James? I fucking take my hat off to you, man, because when you've been in a storm, a long storm, and fucking mad stuff happens, like having kids, you know, I just told you a minute ago, my mum and dad split up. To this day, I'm 44 in a couple of weeks, right? They split up when I was 6, 7.
Yeah.
They still are not cool, right? And now my brothers and sisters, I'm the oldest of 5. Brothers and sisters who are estranged don't talk to each other. Like the family's kind of deep issues that come back to whatever, beyond my mum and dad. Whatever happened to my mum, she got kicked out at 17, it wasn't great for her, and you know, like we learn as you go through, like these things echo. The toughest thing, I think, and I'm talking to a fighter, because we go out and do these talks on building sites, and I speak to all the lads on the sites, and you know, I'm one of them, we're all tough. You're a fighting man. The hardest fight you ever have is that one you just said there, when you look and you go, shit, I want here, my head was gone, and it don't make you a bad person, but you've turned to face it and to sort of take ownership of that and go, do you know what, I can't change that, but I'll change this. And from this day on, and your lass down the line, she'll hear this, and walking is walking, talking's talking, talking's great, I'm sorry, but actually by doing. And to hear you say you cry when you see that scan, because not just because you're so grateful that you've got a baby coming, but also because there is some human fucking element in you where you know, like, fucking damn, where have I been? I want to be here. I want to be here for the people who love me. Fucking more power to you.
Yeah.
More power to you.
I'll be honest with you, Saoirse, she's had a lot going on in her life, and
is this your daughter?
Yeah, my daughter I've got with Antoinette Stars, and I'll be honest with you, Antoinette married me, was my best pal at the time, and I had so many resentments to over for years and years, but I've got nothing but good luck for them.
Yeah.
I genuinely wish the best for them. Same as Leanne, me and my son's mother. Everyone deserves to be happy. And unfortunately, Antoinette, I heard a lot with an early active addiction. You know what I mean? I was a fucking complete cunt. That's all I can say. I can't justify anything that I've done. Yes, she changed when I go to jail, and she thinks she's a bit of a gangster herself. But listen, she can say things about me. I was out of fucking order 1,000,001 times, and because of my ego, because I was getting tilted and pulled up on me shit, if I had any bit of goodness about us, I would have said, hang on a minute, I'll stand corrected here. But oh no, because I was fucking in the chaos, I was like, I'll fucking show you, so I think I am. You know what I mean? And evidently, I just made things worse and worse and worse. My daughter's head's fucked now, and she's going down the same road as me, and she's about to feel under pressure because our ma still weren't, like you said, your mum and dad aren't cool, and Antoinette, still despises me, but like I would try to get messages starting, right, listen, let's get together, let's show Saoirse we're on the same team, and we're going to try and make things decent and good for you growing up, like you don't feel as though you've got to pick sides, you know what I mean? Because it's fucking her little head, yes, okay, Saoirse's a woman now, but she hasn't been allowed to grow in her head, you know what I mean? She definitely hasn't, and I've got to take responsibility for that, because even though that I haven't been around, okay, and I'll get blamed, which is okay, I'm not bothered about that either, if it's easier to blame me than take responsibility for your fuck-ups, that's fair enough, but I do take responsibility too, I'll take 50% of everything on my daughter's feelings, 100%.
But that's exactly what you're just saying there, isn't it? And that's a powerful message. Even if she is sort of treading a similar path, or you don't know where it's going to go, and she might not go as far down the road as you did, but she can look at you now, and the past, but you're looking at the future now, and you're looking at changing things in the present, and that's a powerful thing, isn't it? To see that you've went there, and you're going, right, look, I have been there, and I've made those mistakes, but this is the road I'm going down now, and I'll be there for you, and I'll
it
be
is
there.
Definitely, if I'll just be honest with you now, because it has been an honest podcast, I'm just waiting for the phone call that my daughter's dead, and that's just being honest with you because of where she's at now in life, and I can't do a fucking thing about it because she doesn't want to go down the road of recovery that I did, okay, and she hates me, and all I've got to do is sit and wait, and it's the most probably uncomfortable and painful thing I've dealt with since I've got clean, because even though I am clean and I'm not the person that I was 5 years ago, there's still that voice in the back of my head wanting to deal with it the old way that I used to deal with things, I could make a phone call, I wouldn't get a lift off one of you doing in Liverpool and the job be sorted the night.
Yeah.
But then what's going to happen? I'm going to be away from my new daughter, I'm going to be away from my other children. If the time comes they do want to reach out to us, it's just a horrible situation. All I can do is pray.
I'll be honest with you, James. It's a hard listen for me and a hard chat to have, because I've seen addiction and how it affects people firsthand. I was mentioning it a little bit earlier. I lost my mum too young to addiction, and I know that feeling, that sort of helpless feeling that you've got, and you're caught between the crossfires, aren't you? Because you love this person, but when somebody's an addict, like I'll tell you how I used to explain. I went away and I thought getting away was the answer. And when I was away, I realised that I needed some sort of connection with her and some sort of relationship, but that she was so much in the throes of the addiction.
Yeah.
It was hard to do, and I always explain it how I would go to see her, right, and I would hang my heart up. You know where you hang your coat up?
Mm-hmm.
I'd hang my heart up at the door, and I'd go in and I'd have that interaction. And, you know, she's sitting there pretending she's having a cup of tea, and I know it's full of fucking vodka or gin or whatever. And then I picked up on the way out, and I needed that sort of interaction. And just like you said, I knew that fucking phone was going to go one day, and it did. And it first went, she'd end up in a coma. And then it went. Now it's raw because I've got family members that are struggling with addiction and friends, and it's that feeling. And, you know, like, you can put the message out there and you can say, look, I will be there for you. The help's there. It's like that old saying, isn't it? You can lead a horse to water, but the water, they need to want to drink there. And it ultimately, it is up to that person, isn't it? You know, you were that person that had to look in that mirror that day and go, but this is on you, fucking Jimmy. And you're the ultimately, there'll be people to help, and there's so many help functions out there and support functions, but you've got to fucking put the work in. That's the thing, and you've got to be ready to do it.
100%, mate. I mean, no one's got a magic wand, but like, seeing the idea, someone put a post on Facebook about an addict this and that and another. I went, hang on a minute. I says, just think what you've got. I should be grateful for what you've got. I said, I don't mean materialistic things. I said, I'm talking about choices. I said, because you know what his fucking choices are? Jails, institutions, or death. As that's his three choices, unless he gets his seat in NE or another recovery program. I says, that's what he's got in his life. I said, well, the girl and the fucking trainers that he's have gotten cars and everything else that is, I think that he's going to pin. I says, he's got jails, institutions, or death if he doesn't get in recovery. And then I didn't get one comment back after that reply. Well, fucking drop the mic.
It's fucking real talk, isn't it?
That's the reality. It's the absolute reality. And again, I reiterate, James, what you're doing, you know, I've got this kind of old school head where I think, as elders, now I'm a parent. Because I told these stories when we're out and about on our job, you know, talking to the builders. It's like, for the longest time, when I was angry and I was in the fucking clutches of hedonism and gear and fucking just violence and madness, I was angry at the world and I was blaming everybody, me. Then when I had my kids, it was like, you know, and I met a good woman, sounds like you have, who's fucking talking to me and sort of helping me understand myself. And I didn't have my back up every time she said, hang on a minute, you're a bit fucking highly strung, or you don't need to speak like that. And I'd be like, I'd let her in and I'd be like, I didn't like it was tough. But I'd be like, do you know what? She's on something here, and then little by little, I've
your last back the layers.
But do you know what it is? It's like, in the end, as an elder now, as a parent, and I think this is like, goes back to tribals. As an elder, it's our responsibility. We can't change the past, but we can only fucking carry ourselves now in the future. And by facing your shit, owning it, and you say 5 years in now? How
5 years on March the 15th.
Because you've got 2 daughters?
Yeah, 2 daughters, yeah.
And the daughter you're talking about, is that your eldest, lass?
Yeah, I've got Tori. Tori's a stepdaughter, and Saoirse is my daughter, yeah. She's the one that's unfortunately in the kiosk as well. But
so in the 5 years you've been making progress, has it changed for her? Has she seen you getting better?
No, it got better for a little bit. She got back in touch with us when she'd been kicked out, and then I got over to Ireland, but then she started playing up in Ireland, and like, I just says, I went, you know, people don't care about John Sears in Ireland because they just put one in her head and fucking leave her in a ditch. And if she starts cutting crack in Ireland, like, you know, they just wouldn't stand for it. And that's just the way it is. Like, you know, people think, the culture places and the farmers and, you know, it's harmless. It's very fucking opposite. You know what I mean? Like, okay, the IRA and that aren't as prominent as what they are, but they're still old-fashioned boys, all right? And if people think there's going to be badness brought into the villages, they'll just put an end to it. And, you know, that is how it would end up. So then she had to come back, and then she went to Mars for a bit, and then now she's at our friend's mother's, Joanna Clark's, and they're getting all sorts of badness, but Joanna Clark is unfortunately caught in the grips of addiction as well, and she's feeding her own daughter, and she's feeding my daughter. So nothing that I can do apart from sitting away. I know that the dog bit them, and my daughter was in hospital, and the dog got put down, and that's all I can really tell you. And hopefully I get a phone call saying that, you know, she wants to change her life, and, you know, I'll walk every step of the road of recovery with that. But until that time comes where she generally means it, I can't do a thing. But
what you are doing though, James, is you're making yourself stronger every single day, aren't you? And that's for you internally, for everything you're doing in your life. And that does ricochet out, that ripples out. And when that time comes, when she thinks, do you know what, you'll have more strength and more experience and more to help her with, do you know?
I hope so. I really do hope so. I mean, like as I say, I'm waiting for a phone call because, she thinks she's a big, strong lass and she can do anything, but that's just the ego, She hasn't got the fight in her that I have, you know what I mean? She's been wrapped in cotton wool all of her life and spoiled all her life. She hasn't had to fight for anything. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm very wrong, but I'm not expecting it to turn out good anyway.
When you talk about hope though, and I would imagine when you were in the throes of it, Jimmy, people that care about you when they were looking at you, they might have had a similar opinion.
Oh yeah, like,
he's not going to make it through. Yeah, and you've come out the other side, so people can and they do get better. So you've got to cling on to that hope.
Yeah,
really,
that's all I can do. Like, I was telling you before, I boxed the kid Craig Denton, and his brother got murdered. We got back in touch, and I was on my tours for a while, so I was staying over there, and like we were saying before, because if anything happens in North East, it's an excuse to get a drink or a packet or whatever. Yeah. And, I love Craig, I love Donna, like the blood family, but my answer to everything back then was just high and fucking cocaine and drink at them. Mm-hmm. Well, not at Donna, but at Craig, saying, I just come for a pint. Like, I nearly split them up. Yeah. Not intentionally, but I generally thought that I was helping. You know what I mean? Because that was my solution to things back then. Just numb it, escapism. Yeah. Of course I didn't know it was escapism back then. I just thought I was just helping the fucking lad. And it was total opposite. I was just damaging him. But, thank God, I didn't cause any more damage. They're still strong. And I've got a lot to be grateful to Craig and Donna for, me and him nearly killed each other in too much our fights, I love the bones of them. I've got a lot to be grateful for them. Them too, definitely. That helped us a lot.
Just getting onto the boxing then. So, talk about how you got into that position. So you grew up in Longmont, North East, like, and you've the family ties to Ireland. What does that look like?
My dad and all his family from Ireland.
They're from Ireland,
and me mum's grandparents Irish too.
Right. And your mum lives over in Ireland.
Back home in Ireland.
Yeah. So you class Islanders back home.
Yeah.
That's funny, isn't it? Like, growing up in the North East, but you class Islanders home. Yeah. It's funny because it's such a warm place, isn't it? Like, we go over there quite a lot. Yeah. And I've got a lot of pals over there now.
My brother and sisters back there too. I mean, my nieces and nephews. I'm the only one back here.
Is it?
Yeah. I've got family as well. Me Uncle Dez's wife and kids, but fell out with a few of them, and they've got their opinion on things that are different to mine, and it is what it is. But like, I'm sure they think the same about me. Anyone that doesn't bring anything that's positive in my life, then I just don't have much to do with them. You know what I mean? Like Claire, my cousin Claire, like, for a long time we didn't speak because of my fucking actions and fucking
chaos.
Chaos, yeah.
Chaos, yeah.
The chaos. When I was in active addiction, she didn't speak to us. But recently we've been back in touch, and it was just so nice because she reminds us very much of my dad.
Yeah.
And we started, she come down to work, so I work at the hotel along there, and she come and she's seen us, and we had a little talk, and it was nice. It was generally nice. As I said, I'm getting them feelings back again. It was lovely just cuddling my cousin, and it did take us back to the olden days,
But that's the thing, when you are in addiction, you aren't the same person. It is a different person. I used to say that about my mum. Like, my mum was like literally Jekyll and Hyde. Like, everyone knew her and loved her, and then she would be drinking, and it would just twist her, and I'd be like, oh, this is not my mum anymore. The words she would say, the actions, and I'm just like. And as a kid, I couldn't understand that, but I understand now. She was ill. She was suffering with this illness, and it wasn't her. So just going back to them early days, school days. Yeah. How old were you when you started boxing?
10.
10.
Yeah.
So what kick-started that? Was that your choice, or was it?
No, I was sitting fucking getting in trouble for fighting, to be honest with you, and my dad was like, well, I'll take you to boxing.
Is he a boxing man?
No. Listen, let me tell you something about my dad, right? You were saying it before, like Jekyll and Hyde. See, my daddy, right? He'd go to church Sunday, best dressed man in the fucking country, right? Because he's going to his Catholic church, right? See, when he walked out of that church and he went home and he got changed and went up to the ministry, fucking Jekyll and Hyde, man. He would fight, he'd cause a fight in the phone box with my daddy, you know, and he would, once you had the drink in him. I swear to God. But then if you tell people about this character in the pub on the North Star or the ministry, but they knew him as Jimmy from the chapel. No, Jimmy wouldn't do that. He's my dad, man. Gentleman Jimmy. Jimmy. I'm like, where's that blue live, like?
Yeah. It's funny. I think my dad's got a similar story for his dad. He was, they used to call him Gentleman John. He was a boxer. And he used to sing opera songs, and everyone thought he was a total gent. Then he would get home, and it would just
explode.
It's the duality of man.
God, in it. Yeah.
So what was Long Benton was the gym in? Was it Forest Hall boxing?
No, I started off at Benton and Norman Forces place with Davey Ritson. Then there was Davey Ritson, Jordan McGurk, and Big Jimmy.
Geordie McGurk's a bloke I know well.
And then they left, and then we got Neil, Ian Turby, Mark J. And then they left, and then we got Jimmy Wallace and some other fella, and then Neil, we got Neil for a good bit, and then Paul King and that, he was doing a bit more.
Paul King had a good career, didn't he?
And then Jimmy Johnson, we got the Jimmy Johnson, Ronnie Johnson, and John Johnson, and then we got Harry Marsden, and Mickey Duncan, and then we went Duncan for a good while, and then Long Benton finished, and then went to Forest Hall. It was Mickey Duncan and Dave Ritson, and then obviously I fucking got banned, didn't I? Because I had 2 metal cards. So
pick that up. You had a card in Ireland and in England.
Yeah, I had a card in England and Ireland. And
what was the reasoning behind that? And
well, just because we typical addict mindset, you know what I mean? I had in my head tunnel vision. I want to be world champion, and I thought if I had more experience, I'd be able to turn pro quicker. So I thought, hang on a minute, I'll be able to get a medal card in Ireland as well. So I was boxing the Irish Championships, and then come back and fighting in England, because obviously you can get a flight to Belfast, can't you? Like less than an hour.
Yeah.
So I was fighting in the Dockers in the championships there. I got knocked out in the final, and then I come back and fought Sean McCRORY
the next day.
Yeah, and like Sean McCRORY says, I mean, friend now, great lad. He says, Jimmy, that was the best body shot I've thrown in my career. I've seconded it on another podcast. I'll fucking second it again. Definitely was, you know. I can still feel it now.
Oh man, I mean that just shows how game you were, though. Like, you know, not just content with fighting lads round here. He's thinking, well, fought everyone round here. I'm going to go to Ireland, get a bit more experience.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mum says there's a very thin line between game and stupidity. You know what I mean? So I don't know which one. I'd like to pick the latter, but I know what my mum will pick.
So you had a good amateur career.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, and then you know, wasn't just the fighting. You know. Like I said the other night in the box, I'm back in Forest Hall club training now as well, in Headland or Hartlepool. You know, Davey Ritson, if any of the lads from the gym are watching this that weren't there when I said it, you know, you need to listen to him, because he's not just teaching us how to throw hands, you know, he's educating us in life. And maybe if I had listened a bit more when he was giving his talks about life and not just the boxing, maybe I wouldn't have went down the routes that I did, you know. But he definitely instilled discipline in us, him and the other coaches that definitely helped us in life, that give us that bit of fight that I needed in life, because, you know, I tried to take my own life a couple of times in the madness, a couple of overdoses, but I definitely do believe that the fight instilled in us in my life prior to that, that's got us through that and got us to where I am now, you know. So God's definitely got a plan for me, because I should be dead. But make no mistake about that. I should definitely be dead.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, we can revisit that in a minute. It was a powerful thing you were saying about the boxing, and you now being, you know, you're training in there and you're training for fight, but like as an elder, like Sam was saying, and that a person that can stand there, that's it's always some of the toughest around, and you can stand there and say to the lads, listen, this ain't no picnic, you know. Yeah. You can think you're as tough as you want, but you go down that road, there's only one way. It's
definitely.
And ironically, the hardest fight is probably this one, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The one where you're looking, you
fight with yourself, definitely, because Listen, there's no one, and I mean there's absolutely no one in this world that I won't go and have a bagger with. As long as it's like fair, you know what I mean? If they haven't got a chiv, I know, then just two hands, I'll go and fight them. Oh, if I've got a chiv too, I'll go and do it too. You know what I mean? But it's different, like fighting someone else, having an opponent in front of you. But your head, right? The game's in your head, you can't see fucking no one, right? Yeah. And self-sabotage, I'm a master of that, by the way. Right, and you know, doubt myself, and then I say before I was overthinking things, I can cause all these problems in my head, right, and then give into these imaginary problems. Before I know it, I'm fucking giving up on all sorts. You know what I mean? And that's when the problems really do start. Yeah. Because of things that have happened in my head that I've given to, and it's definitely going to happen. And
so you've made like ever 50 scenarios in the outcomes before you've even actually done the thing.
100%.
I think there's probably a lot of people listening that could relate to that.
That's really interesting to think as well. So coming from a fighter who, you know, I've done some boxing, you've done some boxing. I never went on to competition boxing, but even like heavy sparring and stuff, you know, if you know you're getting put in with a lad on Friday night who's a bit tasty, or you fucking have it dust up at school and it's right, free me and you know. Like, I used to be thinking, fucking right. I'll be coming up with scenarios then.
Yeah, it's swim, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but like in life, just little things about your character, things you should or shouldn't have done, or should I be doing this, or I maybe ripped off a bit then and I shouldn't have done, and all the scenarios you can create in your head about your own
scary place.
It's insane.
We, you know, as part of the talk that I give when I'm out on sites, you know, weirdly what happened to me was just something quite trivial. Like I found that the gym was a really good place for me. You know, I didn't know it at the time, but that was sort of my therapy. You know, I struggled as a kid. I was my nickname at school, right, was Ray DHD. It's a belt of that, isn't it? Ray DHD from the kids and all. I just thought, fair play to them. Yeah. And I was that kid, you know, and it was the only thing that would sort of calm my brain, being able to go to the gym. And then I found myself on building sites and loved that. Loved the hard work, loved the crack and all that. And weirdly enough, talking about Forest Hall Boxing Gym, it was in that gym when I first got I got like this severe shooting pain all down one side, and then I ended up going hospital after hospital visit, and they sat us down and he was like, look, if you carry on the way you're going with your job and what you're doing in the gym, and he said, you could end up in a wheelchair by the time you're 40. You know, as a young man hearing that, where you think you're bulletproof and you think you're invincible. And honestly, it sent us west, my head fell off. And then you know, the drink was there, the drugs were there, the partying and all that. And that was just an escape for me. And I didn't realise at the time how much like that meant to us, you know, like going to the gym. I didn't make the link at the time. And I'm sure you see it now, you know, being that sort of elder in the gym and you're seeing them lads coming through the door where they've got more edge and a broken piss pot and you're thinking, God, that was me at 15 or 14 or 15 or 16.
Yeah, 100%, man.
And that gym saves people, though.
Yeah, definitely.
That gym is definitely. I wouldn't like to hazard a guess. You mentioned a bloke there, Davey Ritten. He's what a bloke that guy is.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, you know, you couldn't possibly put a figure on. Okay, I'm not gonna say he's fucking a magician. He's saved everyone that's walked through the door. But listen, if he's just saved one life, right?
100%. Yeah.
How many people can say that?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being really like, all right, you can go and fucking buy cars, you can go and fucking have watches, gold, whatever, right? It's good, it's nice. But if you save a life, how are you, man? There's nothing better in the world.
That's what you're doing right now, by the way.
I hope so. I hope I do make a difference, man.
You are, man. When someone's come from what you've come from, and you've got, you know, you're out there, you've got profile, you know, you've got fan base, you've got people who've watched your career, seen it go, you know, attach themselves to the chaos.
Yeah.
We've talked about this on the podcast before, often for lads like us who do turn our back on the chaos. Sometimes it's like holding a mirror up. And the lads are like, he's a boring cunt now, I don't fucking come out, I don't want to do this. But all you're doing is holding a mirror up, you're saying, listen, you know what I mean? Like, I'm fucking out of here, man. My head's gone. And maybe you know that and you don't want to fucking accept it yet. And by doing this, some of them lads will hear this, won't they?
Yeah, and it's real, isn't it? You know, sometimes when you're just sat there and you're listening on your own and there's no outside noise, there's no bullshit. Yeah. And we say, you know, taking it back to building sites, isn't it? When we walk in those canteens to deliver the talks, they're all sitting there and having the crack and it's like, you know how many pints I drank on the weekend and I told her to do this and I got kicked out this nightclub and I had a dodgy kebab and I pissed me pants on the way home and it's, you know, the real shit that they're all struggling with. Like, mate, you felt like this. I'm having these panic attacks in the toilet.
Yeah, 100%,
I think she's going to leave us. Yeah. I can't afford the kids' Christmas boxes. Are you spending too much time on gambling?
But why should we leave you? Why should we leave you? Because you're fucking taking cocaine and like your thing's doing good, right? It makes you go home, your cock doesn't work, right? You know what I mean? You can't even look at your ass. You pretend you're asleep because you're just touching you. You know what I mean? But that's a good fucking thing. How are you, man? You know what I mean? You have a line, right? You sit down, you talk utter shit to some boy you've just met. You tell her what you're gonna do with that, and then eventually you get home, and then pretend to be asleep.
You'll do nothing.
You'll do nothing. It's a liberty, you know. If you had a fucking bag of cocaine and you've had like the pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna be talking shit, telling lies, right? My cock's not going to work, right? Right. I'm gonna be scared. I'm gonna be walking around the house with a machete, right? Yeah. Right. Oh, definitely. I want some of that.
Yeah.
Do you know? You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't fucking do it, man, would you?
It's a funny thing you're saying there. Like, we're having a conversation. Imagine if, right, you were an alien, right? It was your first day on planet Earth, and somebody was trying to. You were walking through the big market, right? Yeah. You saw somebody falling out, and you're trying to explain it, and he's like, "What are they doing?" They've been on this thing called alcohol. And he's like, all right, and tell us about it then. And you start explaining. And you're like, well, it's going to make you feel like this, and it's going to, you're going to put loads of weight on, you're going to get depressed, and blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, so is it free? Like, no, you pay a fortune for it.
Yeah, it costs you a bomb.
You'd just be like, hold on a minute. But it's
going to destroy your life, and then you want the cocaine, and then by the end of the night, you'll be fucking looking at the blinds. What? And that's a good night. Oh, hi, you definitely want to be doing that, mate.
Listen, mate, everyone's doing it.
Everyone's on it, man.
Get back in that spaceship, wouldn't he? Be away.
High fucking rate.
These not
silly bastards.
Yeah. But so, just throwing it back a little bit, the boxing. How did that transpire then? Is it when you got banned from the dual card thing? Is that how you made your way into bare-knuckle?
No. What was it? I got kicked out off Antwerp, and then I went back home to Ireland, which was a crazy thing I'd done. Like, I was homeless, but I thought if I went back home to Ireland that I'd sort myself out. Bear in mind, where my mummy lives, there's 3 pubs, alright? There's a restaurant that sells beer, a music shop, and 2 theatre shops. Oh, man. And obviously there's a massive drinking heritage back home, you know, and
there's a lot of parallels between the northeast and Ireland, isn't there?
And it just didn't end well. I drank a lot, even though my drug taking wasn't very big unless I was in the big cities like Dublin, Belfast. I drank a lot. Things just got worse anyway. I ended up fighting over there when I come back. A lad got in touch with us and said, "Oh, will you we have a bare-knuckle fight?" I wasn't wearing it at the time, so I just fucking I will. And I went down, but when I went down, I was supposed to be fighting some boy, Junior Davies from Wales, and when I got there, like, "Oh, will you fight Dave Radford?" I'm thinking, Dave Radford, I know the name. I was thinking, I'm sure he fought fucking Roberto Duran. You know what I mean?
One of the toughest men on the planet.
It's obviously my head. No, it wouldn't be him. And I was thinking, hang on a minute. Dave Radford fought one of my ex-trainers, Mark J, as well. Oh, it definitely wouldn't be him now, you know? Aye. So then I seen this bloke. Went, "Oh, here's the fight that hasn't turned up, you know, so will you fight him?" I was like, aye, who's he? "Oh, Dave Radford." I went, "Oh, there's him." Right.
Oh, I know.
So the first time I fought him, I just threw a jab on a right hand, and he stepped into the right hand, so it was like double impact.
Right.
I shot his eye socket and his cheekbone, I think, and the fight stopped, I think, pretty quick.
So what's going through your head at this minute when you say it is Dave Radford and you think, oh, the high profile fighter, like, because you're obviously your game is bad, you fight anyone. Are you thinking, I'm really looking forward to this because I can really test my metal? And
like, I was looking forward to it because I love a packer. I love the feeling that the rush, you know what I mean? Like, all I can explain, like, when I know I'm going for a packer, right, it's like fucking when you double drop, you know, when you're rushing.
Yeah.
Like, I love it, you know what I mean? And don't get us wrong though, like, when I first felt his dig, one thing with Dave Radford, right, like, the first fight, you know, was over very quick, but the second fight, the rematch, there was 19 minutes it went, and like, we both looked as though we'd been in a car crash, and it was fucking horrendous. Brutal. And his hands, like, my Uncle Paddy, he's got massive hands back home in Ireland, but Dave Radford's hands are bigger than his. Like, when he hits you, like, you know you've been hit.
Yeah.
It was fucking horrible. Like, when I got out of bed, I had to crawl to the toilet. I couldn't get up and walk because I was all fucking bruised on my sides. I was pissing blood for 2 weeks. It was horrible.
That's the side of that sport and boxing and whatnot that people just don't really see and don't understand. I didn't
help myself because obviously when me and Paul King we drank the bar dry the promoter tiny top lift ball went back to his and fucking went a lock in, but we just wouldn't leave. There were people at the door knocking on the door because they'd booked the dinners. We were like, no, we're not leaving.
We're cracking on.
We're not leaving.
I'll be honest, I don't think there'll be many people that would move you on either.
That was it. So I was drinking, and then we'll come back and then drinking all sorts, you know, and on the session. And by the time I got home, I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. I had to crawl to the toilet. I was pissing blood. I was safe for 2 weeks. It was bad, but then a bloke called Joe Smith, he bought the bare-knuckle company, and him and his partner said, "Oh, will you have a rematch?" I mean, David said we wouldn't fight each other again, but I rang Dave. I went, "Listen, Dave, they're trying to get us to fight again." NE1's, "Listen, Jim," he says, "they've offered $5,000 if I can take me family holiday for that." I went, "Listen," I said, "well, if you want to take the family holiday, we'll do it." We've done it again, but the third time was horrible because Dave classed as a genuine friend, you know what I mean? And when you've been as far as what me and Dave had been in that second fight, you know, you've got love for each other.
Yeah, respect.
You know? And me and my mummy was sitting down in Call with Dave and Michelle, his wife, and people were saying, "I can't believe you two are going to fight in an hour." And you're sitting having dinner with each other.
Yeah.
And me was like, well, it is what it is. But that really did do what it was mentally, because after the fight, I always told my dad that I would never just fight for money. And once you break it down, that's all that I did do, you know what I mean? And then I was going through in my head that I'd like betrayed my dad, and just me in my head fucking playing games with us, you know what I mean? And
yeah, but you also just said that in that chat you had with him that he wanted to go on holiday with his family, and that you were like willing to do that with a lot of that in your mind, like, I'll help you out. Like, that's a beautiful thing. And isn't it fucking interesting when two blokes go to war that you can love each other, like in a way that you've shared something that you walk past a million other people and you'll never get that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, Craig Denton, like I say, I love him. He's my brother. Craig and Dave's the same brother. I speak to Craig and Dave every morning. Yeah, I can show you my phones after this. Every morning we speak. There's lads that I've run book with school with that I haven't talked at all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people that they say you're friends, I couldn't give two fucks, man. Like, Craig lives in Hartlepool, Dave lives right down the bottom of the country, and he used to live in Yorkshire, but they can find the time to reply to a text. Yeah, it says it all to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know where my lads really are, you know, they're me proper boys.
And that happens, doesn't it? The older you get, you sort of filter out the...
Yeah.
I was going to say the shit there, but you know, you do realise, you know, and that's a funny thing for me is I've met people in the last few years that I know they'll be my friends forever.
Yeah.
And we can have the realest chats, you know, where you ring up and you go, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
And it's not going to be like, "Yeah, I'm sound," or "Yeah, let's go." It's going to be, "Nah."
You shared something so intense, haven't you? And I think that's the ultimate, you know, and we know that we all say now, the kids today, like, you got fucking 13-year-olds going to McDonald's in the afternoon and fucking shivving and shooting each other now, aren't you?
Yeah.
And we're old enough that you did have a do, you had a dust up, and often you would shake hands, you'd go and have a beer, and you did create like a respect that was like, no, fair game, you, like, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
That seems
that
like
goes back to like the school days, doesn't it? You know, like, you'd have a dust up with a kid at school, and then all of a sudden you're best pals. It's funny.
Yeah, because you've been there, you've been to that place, that fucking dark place where you're reaching, aren't you? And it's a mad thing.
So you mentioned Dave there, and I probably could be classed as, I don't want to say like a pioneer, but he's a huge.
He is the pioneer, 100%. He is the pioneer. And people go on about me, but listen, let's get real here. Dave was travelling the country up and down before I fought him, right? People don't give a fuck about Gypsy Boy McCRORY because I beat the man who went the distance to beat your man.
So do you think that's where your name sort of went?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is, man. Let's not make no mistake about it, and let's not bullshit it. Dave Radford is the pioneer of bare-knuckle. It's not me. Okay, you know, Jimmy Sweeney, fantastic fighter. Barry Jones, Mick Terrell. You know, there's some great fighters. There's some great athletes. Danny Christian, another good friend. But let's get real. If Dave Radford wasn't going up and down the country, if Dave Radford hadn't been on the first B-Bad show,
and the name of that he is,
then B-Bad wouldn't have been bought, then UB-Bad wouldn't have come, then BKB wouldn't have come, you know. Okay, all these fighters have contributed to it, but in my eyes, Dave Radford was at the start, so he is the pioneer.
Yeah. So you must have seen, just talking about those fight companies there and how much it's changed. I mean, it's on like pay-per-view, isn't it now?
Yeah.
And do you think that wouldn't? Could you ever seen that happening 15 years ago?
No,
10
definitely
years
not.
ago?
Definitely not. You know, I think it's amazing. You know, like people say, "Oh, I've crossed even just on that night." I know, like I'm a bit fucking like dead jealous that you didn't get the BKFC call up, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not one bit jealous. How can I be jealous? I have been part of a great little era, great time, okay, and my time has passed, and hopefully I might get it again. I might get one last tour of the days, but if not, right, I think it's great. These lads, these great lads, right, are getting a great opportunity. They're putting themselves through hell in that training camp.
Putting your life on the
line. You know what I mean? They're
basically.
putting their life on the line for people's entertainment. How can I even be one bit bothered, have one bit of nasty thought in my head, anything negative to say about them?
Yeah.
Fucking good luck to them. Yeah. Good luck to Mick Terrell, good luck to Jimmy Sweeney, and good luck to anybody else that goes to BKFC, because that's the only place where you're going to get valued as a fighter. Simple as that.
Yeah, but that's a testament to your character as well, because there is people, and there is up times when people do get their head down because fucking what about me? I missed the boat, you know. That's a testament to your character, that is.
Appreciate your kind words,
it
mate.
Is.
You know?
It absolutely is, because it's easy to be begrudged and think, fucking hell, if I'd have only got that chance, what about me? It was easy for you, or you were in the right time. That's mint. That's mint.
I see resentments. You know, I've learned this myself. I had resentments to McCRORY for a long, long time. Him and his mate Trevor jumped on us years ago, and now me and Mark got back in touch at a church. I didn't want to speak to him, and now I'm not going to force religion on anyone or force God on anyone in this chat, right? But I'm telling you now, I didn't want to go anywhere near Mark, right? But something carried my fucking feet from the side of the church back to him, right? He grabbed a hold of me, gave us a cuddle, kissed my head. I cuddled him. Now I hate falseness and two-facedness. So I'm trying to figure in my head what has just fucking happened here, right?
This is in a church.
In the church, St. Luke's in Newcastle.
Right.
I couldn't speak to him. My voice wouldn't work, so I was pointing at the door. So he went, "You alright?" I couldn't speak. So I got the back, went, "Listen," I went, "You guys have had fucking resentments for you for ages. I went, you and Charles jumping us, blah, blah." And he went, "Listen," when James was just the drinking drugs, you know what I mean? Now, how can I possibly have and continue with resentments when he said that to me? When all the liberties that I've taken full of crack. So when I can understand that. And we've talked, right? Now, Mark prayed for us, and I prayed for Mark, and, you know, Mark knows my plans for him, and they weren't good, alright? But I do honestly believe that God then put me on my crack journey to stop me from putting something in him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I showed him what I bought for him, and, you know, and he's full of gratitude that I didn't get home, and I'm full of gratitude I didn't, because I would have destroyed not his family life, but my own family's life too,
God, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be part of something on January the 18th in Mark's gym. You know, me and Mark are friends, and I'm so grateful to the man for things that he's done for me, because he's an inspiration too. You know, people aren't going about me, "Oh, James, you're inspirational, we're turning life around with the drugs." So is he.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I could say something now would be very incriminating. Okay. So I wouldn't. But how that man's turned his life around as well, it's nothing short of a miracle either.
So
you know?
Tell us a little bit more about this thing you've got planned then.
January the 18th, TSX, it's a bit like yourself, well-being, and Curtis Brown had a church, and Mark were doing at his gym at Benfield.
Yeah.
It's online. This first program is full, but there's bound to be dropouts, as there always is, and there'll be another program hopefully in 6 weeks, you know. So if anyone's curious, either contact me or just come into Benfield and ask about it, and, you know, you'll be told about it.
Awesome.
Was that through like exercise and whatnot? And
exercising, and, you know, just gospel, and, you know.
So there's like a spiritual element to it as well, yeah?
So, you know, like, I was brought up in a Catholic church in a very staunch, strict Irish way, and, you know, I've always believed in God, but I did lose my faith. I did when my dad died, and, you know, I found myself questioning a lot that how come all these bad things were happening. And yes, my dad drank, and he was a fucking bad temper, couldn't cause a lot of bother, he could, but he wasn't a bad man, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was thinking, how come he's got cancer and dead at 55? I need my dad. I fucking need him. So why I had resentments to God for a long time. Like, why the fuck did you take my dad? You know? But, you know, like we said before, life's a roller coaster, and I do believe that everything is put in your life to make you who you're meant to be, you know?
Yeah. Lessons and blessings.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
And that sounds like that's what you're going to put on in these projects.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hopefully if someone comes, you know, it's open for everyone, you know. If you can see the change in Mark, the change in me, and the change in Curtis, through different elements that all we can add, or maybe we can just give suggestions, you know, and people can go with their own journey, then that's a job well done, you know. Because let's just be honest with you, really, the amount of badness that I fucking applied and I hired on people, you know, it's been good and very positive talk this, but, you know, I'm not going to forget about the badness I've done, and I'm probably responsible for the beginnings of a lot of people's addiction problems, you know what I mean? Because if I was getting high and if I was fucking getting kicked out and losing my family, everyone else was. That's just the way it was back then, you know what I mean?
I think it's a common story amongst that chaos, isn't it? There's always like collateral damage.
Yeah.
I'm not just going by myself, I'm taking everyone down with us, you know, and that, you know, it's not something to be proud of, and I'm not proud of it. I'm just being honest, you know, that's where that I was.
But that line there, James, being honest, right, fucking toughest thing tough men will do.
Yeah.
When, like you say, when you're looking at yourself, when you're taking responsibility and stuff, for the young men especially listening to this, who might come along and see you lads and that. Examples like you, the wildest of the wild, who do turn a corner and say, do you know what it is? Man, let's turn a page. That's as inspirational as it gets.
I mean, no one likes getting vulnerable, but in doing so and dropping the ego, right, and the arrogance that fucking sugarcoated my fucking chaos, you know, it's helped me a lot. You know what I mean?
I've got a little question that ties into what we're talking about here. I've done this talk. It was Liverpool way, and this fella come up, and he was just pointing at us, and he was trying to fight the tears, you know, and then they come. He ended up, and we're in a private room, and he said, "I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm embarrassed. If anyone sees, my family would be ashamed." And I said, "For what?" And he said, "Well, I'm a hard man. I'm meant to be a hard man." And then, like, the words echoed with us, I'm meant to be a hard man. And I thought, fucking hell, what is a hard man?
Yeah, there's no such thing.
Like, to be honest, like, if you think about your typical hard man, you're just saying there, you'd have a dust up with anybody.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, that battle in your head, you could fight anybody on the street. Does that really make you a hard man, or does it make you a hard man that you look in the mirror and you go, you know what, for all my flaws and for all the shit that's going on, I'm going to fucking own it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do the work, the hard work, and I'm going to try and make it right.
Yeah.
To me, that's a hard man. A hard man's being honest, showing up, reliable. And if you have not everyone has a family, but being there, and that's what you're trying to do, mate. And that to me,
amazing.
It's a powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you always say that, like, what's a hard man? I said there's no such thing as a hard man. And you said, what, you is a hard man. Hard man is just a perception. You know what I mean? Because I don't think there is anything such as hard man. Like, I do fully agree with you. Hard man's getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning going to work for his family. Hard man's not giving in to fucking demons, Hard man is keeping himself on the straight and narrow. It's much easier to fucking try and do, I'll do a quick score. That's a little tip that'll make you feel grand.
Yeah.
I better just fucking roll. It snowballs, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And then eventually you'll be in too deep.
Yeah.
Then you can't do nothing about it.
And I think that's it.
And you've jeopardised your family and all sorts by that stage, you know what I mean?
And I think there's this thing in this region, isn't there, about, having this persona. And this is a question that we ask on every single podcast. And it's a question that I'm intrigued what your response will be. And you're a northeast lad. I'm sure you're very much the same as me. I love this area. I love the people of this area. The salt of the earth, hard-working, good people. Lovely place as well. We've got the coast looking out the window here. We've got some fabulous countryside. It's got a lot going for it. Yeah. However, we have got the highest cases of poor mental health and suicide in the whole of the UK. And like Sam says, Sam's an adopted Geordie, and he's always thought of very much like the Irish. If you mention Geordies, they're all up for a laugh, always
great
happy,
crack,
great crack.
Yeah.
So why are we losing so many young people, so many young men, in particularly, to suicide? What is it about this region? Why are we struggling so much, James?
It's a very good question. You know, like I tell you before we start this conversation, my daddy's my first hero, okay, but the way that he taught us was the only way that he was taught, alright, but there was a great shame in crying, okay, or in defeat, we'll just say, you know, if me and my brother ever had any handlings and we'll come back in, or we're being bullied or whatever, or such and such as me to cry, what we got, right, was get back over there, fight, or I'll give you a fucking reason to cry, right? So, bear in mind now, right, you've come in, you're 5 or 6, you've tell your mum and dad, right, or you've been battered, or someone's done something to you, right? And then you've got your father taking his belt off, right? I'm going to give you a fucking reason to cry. Are you going to go back out and say them cunts that have just give you a battering? So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yeah. So you go back out to the bastards that have just give you a kick. Because it's not going to be as bad as the buckle of the belt, is it? You know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, it's just ego. That's all it is.
Historically,
you know?
it's a hardy place in North East, isn't it? Like, you know, the conditions, if you throw it back to like, you know, like industry, all coal miners or shipyards, you know, the really hardy people. Yeah. But I think that, you know, I think it's generations that are coming through now that have maybe had a similar upbringing to that and can't show emotion because it's a sign of weakness. Yeah. Like, that's fucking bollocks. Like,
of course it's bullshit, man, you know, and that's like what I hope being part of this podcast does reach out, you know.
100%.
There's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. Like, the hardest thing I've done in my life, okay, all the fights I've had nearly 300 fights. Well, I've had nearly 300 fights that have been, you know, documented. Fuck knows how many I've had, like, on the streets. But the hardest thing I've done in my life, okay, was ask for help, because I was always brought up, you don't need to ask for help. You know, I'll just get through it. I'll get through it. Or if someone asks how I'm going to get through it, I can't fucking tell you how I'm going to do it, but I am going to just get through it. Because that's the way that I was brought up, and that's the way that my daddy was brought up. You know?
And you know,
you just ask for help. Hang on a minute. I went to NE, by the way, twice before I went through the doors, right? Yeah. Because I was 24 and off, so I was drinking 40 pints again as a day and night. And because I was that big, and what I thought were proper junkies, right? Were people who were fucking skin and bone, teeth missing, everything. Yeah. And I'm looking, I've got one tooth missing, and I'm thinking, I've got a badge on my arm, I'm fucking 3 times the size of them. I'm not as bad as them yet. Yeah. So twice I walked away, and
this isn't my place.
More pain, because that's all that's there. If you go and do more research, right? If you think you've got a problem, you'll go through the doors of recovery, or go and do more research. And you do more research, it ends in pain. I don't care what the fuck you do or who you think you are, it is pain. And then you eventually get back through the doors and think, this is my last fucking chance. I've tried everything else. I might as well give this a go. And when I did actually go through, and someone gave us a cuddle and went, oh, I'm such and such. What's your name? Oh, I'm James. Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cup of tea? Well, what do you want from us? Nothing. Do you want a cup of tea? Hang on a minute. I've lived my last fucking decade of my life doing all sorts of badness. No one's ever wanted to give us anything unless I was giving them something or doing something for them. Do you know what I mean? And it's I think it's just life now. It's easier to do badness and shortcut things and be honest, like you're saying, and say, hang on a minute, I need help here, I'm struggling. Yeah. Or maybe I can't do this alone. You know, I need assistance, and whether it's a job, whether it's money, or whether it's anything, man. Just say, reach out. You need fucking help with something, because that's as simple as it is to help save someone's life.
That's a powerful message from a man like that.
Nailed on.
Absolutely nailed it, mate. I suppose the takeaway from that is there's people out there that will help, want to help, and are doing it for the right reasons, and don't do it on your own.
100%.
And just the last thing to just sort of tie this up, and the last question is, and I think you've probably just answered it. Yeah. If anybody was listening that is struggling, what advice would you give them as like a one takeaway that has benefited you for your well-being and your mental health?
If you're struggling with the substances, whatever substance it is, Google. You know, if it's gambling, Google Gambling Anonymous. If it's drink, alcohol, NE. But if it's just your head playing tricks on you, ask for help. You know? Yeah, I for years and years, I didn't want anyone to know that I was this fucking fucked up fucking being. Because that's what I am. You know, I am a mess. I've got no shame in saying that now, and I'm happy with that, you know, because I know I can ask for help.
Yeah.
But it just took us nearly 40 years to get to that point. And if anyone's listening to this, you don't have to go on to 40.
Well, it's funny because it sort of ties into my experience, because I was always brought up thinking that, you know, people with mental health problems got put in a cell, strapped to a chair, and were never let out again. I thought there was only two ways this world went. You were either absolutely sound, like everybody in the pub was, you know, or you were locked away and that was it, and you were in an institution. So when my head started to go a bit funny, I'm thinking, I can't talk to somebody about this, because I'm gonna end up in one of those institutions, and I'll never be seen again. Yeah. You don't realise that everybody's out there outside that window with their own battles, and people are living healthy lives, you know, with anxiety disorders and getting help for it, and sometimes medicated, or, you know, talking therapies, and people can live totally successful lives. I know I've got my issues. I will always have them. You know, I'm gripped with OCD and, you know, ADHD and all that, and I know every day is a battle. Some days I get up and I think, fucking here we go again. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But I also know tomorrow's a different day, and I know the help's there, and I'll continue to battle it.
Isn't that a blessing that you're waking up when you're thinking that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because it was one day you're not going to wake up. You know what I mean? And you're not going to think that. So it's a blessing that you're waking up and thinking, yeah, we'll go again.
Well, I'll tell you what is a blessing as well, right, boys, and it might not sound great initially. We are the elders now, yeah? We've got a few years between us, right? Yeah. We've all got that story, right? And I think we should be blessed in the sense that you just talked about our daddies, and the things that are passed down and what was normal. We are the elders now. We are, by having this conversation, by the people that you're inspiring in your life, that you just meet in the street, that you chat to in the coffee shop. We are having those conversations now where these younger ones are hearing it.
I hope so.
And they are on the start of that path, or they are going to, that well-worn fucking life that we've just discussed. This is how it changes. This is one conversation, but it's another conversation, isn't it? Yeah. Coming from men who have got the stripes and the scars and the stories. And that is the change. That's exactly why we're doing this. Yes, absolutely fucking mint meeting you, man, and hearing this story.
It's been a pleasure, I really has.
So buzzing you came on, mate, and I'm delighted that you're in the place you're at and you're doing some fantastic things. If anybody wants more details on these get-togethers and these wellbeing events that you're doing, how would they find you? Would it be through your socials?
Google, I would imagine Benfield Sports Club or Curtis Brown, or just Google Facebook me. You know what I mean?
So you're on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we haven't covered quickly. You're making a film.
Yeah.
There's only a fucking movie coming out.
Yeah. Cy Biggs and Sean Cronin have made a film, a life story film. Again, it started in the chaos, and it's come to fruit now. You know, I'm just full of gratitude. You know that I'm still alive. We've seen it done, and hopefully it does well enough that I can give me mum something and give the kids something. I tortured Leanne Armstrong and the kids for a long time in active addiction, and I worried her non-stop. My mother, again, I tortured her, worried her non-stop. I didn't make amends to them. I would like to be able to give something to Dion and my daughter that's coming, and just try and I can't buy people's forgiveness, but if I can try and make their lives a little bit easier in the future, then I just hope that's a little bit of goodness to come from it, you know.
Well, I'm sure people listening to this, if they know there's a fucking movie coming and they've heard what they've heard here, just a snippet of bits and bobs.
It's ironically called Angel of the North, isn't it?
Yeah, that is fucking ironic, isn't it? Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. It's fucking been amazing.
So that's going to drop in the spring?
Yeah, spring, yeah. It's finished now. I was just speaking to Sean Cronin the other day, and he went, right, James, I'm going to send you some bits and pieces, and I just want you to let us know if the music's all right. And you know, when he said that, I was like, you know what? He went, I'm going to send you like the snippets. I went, the film's done. He went, well, yeah, James. He went, we caught Newcastle a few months ago. We've done the last bit. He went, you were actually in the film. And I was like, yeah, I know that. I went, but it's done. He went,
it's real now.
Yeah, I was like, fucking hell. Because this has been happening for like over a decade, you know what I mean? And for a long, long time, I didn't think it was going to happen. And you know, like a lot of badness happened to Sai. You know, he lost his marriage during the making of the film, that I do feel a lot of responsibility for, you know what I mean? Because when Sai was coming to do a lot of research about me, and then unfortunately I kidnapped him a couple of times, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't let him go home. But I hope that he gets his just rewards from it too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure. It's just apologies for laughing there. It's just the way you just so blasé.
I think
you kidnap someone a couple of times. I don't know if you mean it in the truest sense of the word. You just kidnap them.
I don't know how to sugarcoat that. You know what I mean? Because I did. You know what I mean? Yeah. I took his car keys. I wouldn't go home. And it's sorry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. On the missing list of James McCRORY.
My answer, I was want to go home, was tough. You know what I mean? I'd give him another bottle of Budweiser. I'd put nothing on a lineup. Yeah. That was just it.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be an authentic movie.
I think so. I can't wait to see it. And honestly, mate, best luck with everything.
Thanks very much
for coming on.
Yeah, mint.
And yeah, blessings.
Really enjoyed it. Take care.
Thanks, lads. I really have enjoyed this. Thanks.